and happy Friday. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, or whatever time you're watching this. Happy Friday. And I'm Regina Reza Celeste, your host of the Pearls of Peace podcast. And I'm so excited because today is Q&A with Yogi Real Estate Reg. And this week I had an awesome question, a question that I've actually gotten asked many times. And that is, Reg, I'm having trouble sleeping. What can I do? And it was interesting because this question came up more than once this week. So my suspicion is that there's a little bit of challenges with sleeping nowadays, probably because there's a lot of noise, including right now. I actually hear a lot of noise. So good news is we're just going to roll right through that. We're not going to worry about it. What we are going to do, though, is focus on some awesome tips and some good asanas and postures that can actually help you to sleep not only more deeply, but also fall asleep faster. Okay, I'll also share with you some really cool meditations and some breath work that can get you falling asleep faster so that you can get a more restful, more powerful, and deeper sleep. So before I start, I want to share with you that I didn't always, and sometimes I still don't sleep that way. Sometimes my sleep is has been in the past very inconsistent, either because I would sleep at all various different times or because I just had a lot on my mind and it was really hard for me to fall asleep. In fact, that is actually why I get to be on my yoga mat as much as I am now, because there was a time when I couldn't meditate. And every time I meditated, I found myself on my mind scurrying all over the place, and I found it really, really hard to be quiet and still. And that's changed. I've been able to develop skills and techniques to help me meditate, to help me quiet my mind. And truth is the mind is made and designed to think. So anybody that tells you stop thinking, just know that where that's coming from is the thought of trying to stop thinking is impossible. It is physically impossible. What we can do, though, is we can slow down the thoughts. So when someone says stop thinking, what they're trying to do is make you feel better. They're trying to tell you stop thinking so much so that you can be quiet and your heart can be at rest. Your body, your mind, and your spirit can be in a more peaceful and restful state. So the same thing happens when we're sleeping. If we are having a hard time sleeping, it's because our mind is often racing. Have you ever noticed how when you're super, super tired, you actually fall asleep really fast? It's because your body is restful and exhausted, really. It's like completely, you just collapse, right? So the same thing is true of the mind. If we can get our minds to collapse in a healthy state, then we can allow for a more restful and peaceful space to sleep. So a couple poses I'm going to share with you. One is the easiest and probably the most overlooked, and that is Shavasana. And Shavasana is a really powerful pose. I have an interesting story with Shavasana. When I was just starting my yoga practice back when I was 15, and it's been 25 years now. So 25 years ago, when I first started Shavasana, I was 15 years old, energetic little thing. And I remember being in class, and it was really hard for me to focus at the end of class, probably because I didn't think I needed it. Right now, probably for sure, I didn't think I needed it. So I would end up leaving 5 minutes early, sometimes 7 minutes, timing it perfectly so that I could get to the parking lot and out of there in time to go do the next thing I needed to do. Now, at 15 years old, what did I need to do? I don't know. But whatever it was, leaving Shavasana was not a good idea. And here's why. Because Shavasana, which is also known as corpse pose, not a fan of the name. I like resting pose or sleeping pose. The reason it's such a powerful pose is because it really kind of forces us to slow down. And oftentimes we still can't do it. But the reason people have a hard time with Shavasana is because they're having a hard time slowing down. So if you're one of those people who leaves class, who leaves class early because you think you don't need Shavasana, you're exactly who needs Shavasana. So know that Shavasana, sleeping pose, is really, really important. And it actually helps rejuvenate not only your body and your cells, but also your mind. It's a really important pose. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what Shavasana looks like. It's really simple. You're just going to lay down. And when you're laying down, if you're in an active state, like right now, it's first thing in the morning, it's early, I'm pressing my belly towards my spine so that I can also engage my core and my abdomen. And you can actually roll down nice and slow. And Shavasana is literally, you're just completely relaxed, releasing any and all stress. And I have a box over by my feet, but if you don't, you would literally just lay here and close your eyes. And connect with your breath, connect with your mind, and give yourself permission to slow down. So that's the first pose, Shavasana, really important pose, and that's really powerful also if you're having low back pain or even upper back pain. That's a really good pose. Another great pose is legs up the wall, and the name for this one is Virpati Karan. And this is a great one. If you have a body pillow at home, you can also use this like a wedge. A wedge would be really good. And literally, you're going to find a wall, and you're going to put your feet up the wall and just keep your legs against the wall here. And what that's going to do is it's actually taking all the blood flow and bringing it down. So you're calming the body, calming the nervous system. You can also bend your knees, although that's not quite as effective, but you can certainly just, have your feet against the wall or up this way against the wall. So Virpati Karan. And then you have plow pose, Halasana. Now, plow pose is an interesting pose. It's not, a lot of people, I actually often do plow pose and fish pose together. And if you have any neck issues or if you have any issues with inversions, you have to be mindful and careful of this one. But so fish pose looks like, so get into Shavasana, and you're going to actually bring your head, kind of lifting it up like that. So you're resting on your head. Okay. So that is actually, and you know what? I think that's fish pose that I'm showing you. Let's make sure here, because I don't want to be giving you the wrong pose. That would not be nice. So give me a moment. I don't do this pose very often, and there's a reason for that. I'm not really a fan of. So we'll get back to that. Not gonna waste time right now. But Halasana, plow pose, that's another one that you can do. And it's basically what it does is it opens the shoulders, and it also allows you to really rest open. And it's a great pose for, I just realized, that's why. Okay, so you're going to actually rest on your hands like this. There you go, that's plow pose. Not sure why I had a slip there for a minute, but that is Halasana. Again, not my favorite, but an option. And then child's pose. And this one is really simple. You've probably done it a million times. It's also known as prayer pose. You're going to bring your arms up overhead. I like to do a little prayer in the middle. Prayer hands. Arms up overhead. And then I just come down into a nice child's pose. And this is really good for the low back. You can actually feel the release in the low back if you have any stress in the low back. You can do this anytime, not just when you can't sleep. This is a great pose to do in the middle of the day. It's really restful. Even just resting right here is good. But if you want to get down in there and get a deeper stretch, you can press the hands into the earth, into the base of the palm, and really press those fingertips into the mat and engage the arms as you lift up, and then reach down. And as you do this, really allow and feel the lungs back behind you expanding as you breathe. So allowing that nice, big, deep stretch and release in the low back. That's a really powerful one. And that's Shushayasana, child's pose. And then, of course, this one you guys have done 1,000 times. And this is a standing pose, but you can also do it seated. And this is Uttanasana. So for Uttanasana, it's also known as staff pose or forward fold. So what you're basically going to do is just leave your legs out in front of you. And I like to flex my feet, bring the arms up overhead. And then when you're ready, take a nice big deep breath in and then lean forward. And then here you get to decide how far you want to lean forward. So the key is to really press into this pose, pressing the belly towards the spine, and then noticing how deep you're going is going to allow you to feel that stretch in the lower or upper part of your back. So again, this is one of those poses you can really leverage your own body here. And you're going to also get the back of the thighs and also the calves here. So this is a great stretch also for the back of the knees if you have, any runners in the house, or if you have, if you're skiing or you're doing even, water sports. It's really a great posture to stretch and relax here. Beautiful. And you can come into that pose anytime. So again, a couple exercises, a couple asanas this morning or afternoon, again, whenever time you're watching this, to share with you some tips on how to sleep better, more powerfully and purposefully, so you can get really restful night's sleep. I also did share with you a couple meditations that I think will be really powerful for sleeping. And that is a couple that I've recently been taking on for myself and my students is transcendental meditation, actually. And it's really simple. I've just been throwing on some YouTube videos at night, and I'm actually working on a couple meditations myself. But that's a great way to really get into the subconscious mind and really quiet the mind. Also, there's some great Kundalini breath work as well that you can access. And just, anything that really gets you into a deeper state. Sometimes I'll just tell my Alexa to play some meditation music at night or Reiki music, and it really brings me to a nice, rich, peaceful place where I'm really, really into my rest. And like last night, I didn't sleep a ton. I slept 5 hours, but I'm pretty wide awake right now. And the truth is you're going to go through waves, but it's important to allow yourself to have these accessible tools that you can access. Of course, eating right is really important, and also getting enough water and hydration. Super, super important. So if you're tired, drink water, because you might really just be thirsty. So a couple things there that I trust will help you sleep better and with more intention. And I'd love to hear what's working for you. I'd love to hear some things that are helping you sleep better. And what else? Today is the 50th episode. Huge milestone. Super excited. 50th episode of the shows that I've been putting together for you guys. I'm trusting that it's of value. Would love to hear from you what's working and what you'd like to see more of. And stay tuned next week. We'll have some awesome stuff. Again, Mondays, we do Mindset Mondays, Motivational Mindset Mondays, because it's all about starting our week powerfully and strong. Wednesdays is Winning Wednesdays, where we really focus on those wins and how things are working, whether it's we keep moving forward with the successes we've had or we pivot to create an even stronger week. And then Fridays is Q&A with me. So if you have questions, send them my way, and I will reach back out and answer them through video, just like I'm doing today. And until then, remember, internal peace is something you get to create from the inside out. And together, we're changing the world from the inside out. Thank you so much, guys. Have an amazing, awesome day. From my heart to yours. Namaste.